Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following along with our Simplicity loader build, you'll remember that I told you that I needed to remove this engine. And if you also remember, I told you I need to remove the engine for a couple reasons. One of the reasons was because I need to replace the magnetic pickup coil near the flywheel, and then the other reason was because I thought I had made a mistake regarding the engine. So that's what this episode's about, at least starting that process. We're going to tear down part of the engine, and then from that tear down, we're going to try to figure out if this is actually something that I want to fix or not. I have both good news and bad news. When I put this engine together, I was meticulous. I downloaded the Kohler reassembly instructions. I watched videos about it. I tried to do as much homework as I could to make sure I was putting this engine back together correctly. And so I was trying to follow those steps and rebuild the engine. And so when I saw that I thought I had made a mistake, I was like racking my mind, like, well, what could I have done that was a mistake? I said, I think I did it right. I reread the reassembly instructions, and that was exactly as I put it. And then I started looking up videos of other people doing what I did. And then I realized something, that perhaps I didn't really make a mistake, but that there's a poor quality part that's being sold out there, that's being sold as a replacement for something on this engine that's not actually a good quality part, and it doesn't work. Now, the issue the other issue outside the magnetic pickup coil that I found was the governor. And the governor, when I was having issues with the throttle, I would throttle up and it would just rev all the way up or whatever, just real erratic throttle. Well, I took off my oil fill tube and I looked down inside there. Sure enough, my governor gear was missing. It is no longer on the shaft that it's supposed to go on. That's where I thought, well, maybe I made a mistake. Perhaps I didn't put it in correctly. Perhaps I forgot to put in something. But then I found this video.
Well, hi guys and gals, it's me, George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. And today we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to remove and replace the governor gear on this Kohler K301. I have bought a new gear. You slide it in, and then we're going to come back up top, and we're going to take our screw and drop it right in there like that and snug it down, and there it is, all in place, and it's going to stay right there. Wait, I don't know. Put the old one back in there. Seems kind of floppy to me. Yeah, it's not near as floppy as the replacement one. Yeah, let me show you a couple of things here. I'm going to put the old one back in. Let me show you this. See how floppy that is there? Here's the original one. There ain't no play in that original one, none at all. They stick a little bit. If I use some penetrating oil on them, I think I can get them to loosen up. I'm putting the original one back in. This thing is a piece of junk, as far as I'm concerned. Didn't come so easy, but it ain't going in. I think if I put this one in, I would end up with it blowing apart. So be aware that maybe replacing your gear is not the best way to go.
And as you saw in that video, this man was trying to replace the governor gear in one of the Kohlers, and he had a new governor gear for his engine, tried to put it in, saw the wobble and said, that's going to fall off. I'm putting the old one back in. And that's what I think what happened is I put the new governor gear into this engine. It had too much play in it. I didn't know that it was supposed to have that much play in it. And then when I started the engine, sure enough, it came off the shaft and fell into the bottom of the crankcase. So today I'm going to disassemble the engine shrouds, and I'm going to take off this cylinder on this side and see if I can, one, find the governor gear and see what kind of condition it's in. Is it still usable, or did it get destroyed in the process of falling off the shaft? And then number two, to see if there's an alternative replacement that won't fall off that side of the engine. So let's get started.
All right, let's start out by removing the engine shrouds. And since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and remove my magnetic pickup coil since I'm replacing it anyway. Because I'm going to have to take off the cylinder, I need to remove the intake manifold and the exhaust manifolds. Okay, now that we have the intake and exhaust manifolds removed, I'm going to try to remove the cylinder on the other side of the engine to try to expose an axis into the crankcase. It'll be a little easier if I get the starter removed. Now, don't give me too hard of a time, but I'm going to try to take this off the cylinder without removing the head. All right, let's take it off there. What? Man? Come on. It's moving the whole engine stand. We're out. Let's hope for some room. Don't know if I'm going to get it. All right. This is as far as it'll go. I'm looking underneath here. All right, let's do some fishing. I saw the washer. Okay. Oop. This is a little spacer. Well, after some digging, I got it. Oh, there it is. It's broke. Let's see if I can get this on the camera here. It's broke right there. This has been pretty much smashed. This is useless now.
I guess I have some decisions to make. As you saw, the governor gear I pulled out of the bottom of the crankcase, which I thought is where it would be. And unfortunately, it's no longer in any kind of usable condition, which I assumed it would not be that way. I guess if I could think of good news, the good news is it's still pretty much complete. There's not any pins missing. The weights are still there. There's no plastic there's plastic's been broke here, but it's not been cracked off. But clearly this is not going to be able to be used anymore. I found the spacer, so I have the spacer and the governor gear. and I took it out. And so now I have some big decisions to make. So when I bought this tractor, the fella who I bought it from had the engine tore down. I think I told you before. And when I was rebuilding it, I found out that the cylinders had been bored 30 thousandths over than what stock would be. And it was rebuilt at about 1,200 hours. The machine has 1,700 hours on it. This rebuild had 500 hours on it when I got the machine. And so when I put it back together, I knew it would run because it ran before. But I wanted to just kind of put it back together, fix what the guy told me it needed to be fixed. I did that, which was a spacer with the cam, and I put it back together, and it ran fine except for this. And this has come loose. But this governor is not reusable. So now, what do I have to do? Because if I replace the governor, I got to rip apart this engine almost completely again. I can leave probably the crankshaft in and stuff, but it's a lot of work to tear this thing in half again and then put it back together. Totally doable, and I could do it. The question is, how many more hours does this engine have on it? It already had 500 hours in the rebuild. It already had 30 thousandths bored 30 thousandths over. It's got, a lot. There's a lot of good to it, but there's also a lot of things that basically it's on its last rebuild. And so that's where I'm at. And I have to decide if I'm going to reuse this engine or try to find a replacement. And so I've been thinking about it, and this is the situation with this engine. Let me show you another replacement engine that I possibly could use for this loader build.
All right, so what you're looking at is my Simplicity 7116 Dream Simplicity build. And last year I had installed this 22.5 horsepower engine on this tractor, and I loved it. And it ran awesome, drove awesome, loved it. Did some fabrication to get this engine to fit. And now I'm considering taking it back off. The issue that I have with the Kohler Magnum is twofold. One is longevity, and two is parts availability. It already has 1700 hours on the engine. Has 500 hours on its last rebuild. It will not have another rebuild after this one. And I just don't know how much longer it will last. It may last a couple hundred hours. It may last a whole nother 1,000 hours. I don't know. But then that brings up the other issue. The other issue is parts availability. When I look up governors, you're looking at least $30 for the cheapie, which is what the guy bought. And it doesn't fit well. It doesn't work. It's not good. It's not a good replacement. And so when I looked for actual replacements, they get very expensive, sometimes double that price. And even then, I don't know if it's going to be a good fit for what that is. And perhaps I'll find one cheaper and I'll change my mind. But as what I see right now, the parts for that Kohler Magnum are either extremely expensive or obsolete. They can no longer be found. You can buy new old stock and used parts from like eBay or other online retailers. Or you can find some things, but a lot of it's not. And one of the goals of this loader build is that when it breaks, I want to be able to fix it. And so I'm highly considering taking this engine off. This engine has 22.5 horsepower, which is more power than the Simplicity Sunstar had from the factory. This thing runs amazing. I heard it run. And it would be a good addition to the Simplicity Sunstar. In fact, they put a similar engine to this on the newer Simplicity Sunstars. And so this is something I'm highly considering putting on there. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to do some online looking, and I'm going to see if I can find a replacement engine that's a reasonable replacement for that Simplicity. I'm also going to look for parts and the parts availability. And I'm going to highly consider taking this engine back off this tractor and installing it on my Sunstar. And then when we get back to this tractor, either we'll find another engine like this one or a similar one to put back on this tractor as I continue this build. I don't want to do it. But if I want this loader to be something that I can depend on and something that I can work on, then having an engine that still has parts availability for it and that's reasonably new. Like I said, this has 400 hours on it, some hours on it from the factory. It's never been through a rebuild. It probably at least has 1,000 plus more hours left on it. it would definitely make me feel better. So you guys tell me what you would do, and I think the next thing you'll see on the loader build is we'll be working on the subframe and getting that installed, and then having the loader installed on it. And during that time, I'll be doing some online searching. So you guys let me know what you would do. Thanks for joining me. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.